I call the meeting to order. If you do the roll call, please.
Dave Waddington, Dan Delahunt, John Fike,
Here.
Walt Matthews, Greg Peugeot,
Here.
Dr. Siemens.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. This is an adjudication hearing, so if you people in the audience are going to give testimony, you're going to need to be sworn in. So if you would raise your right hand, repeat after me. I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth. So help you God.
I do.
You are sworn in. We have the minutes from the September 21st meeting. Is any corrections or otherwise?
I move that we pass the minutes as presented.
Second?
We have a motion second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. The first item on the agenda is 122 Greenbrier Lane. It's an area variance to zoning code section 1129.14 to allow construction of a new attached lean-to on the southwesterly side facade of the house, which creates a combined side yard setback of less than the required 15 feet in an R175 single-family zoning district. We have staff's comments. Is there anything additional?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The site is zoned R175 single-family residential. To the north, east, and west is also R175 single-family residential, and to the south is the Sandusky Bay, and therefore is no zoning. Surrounding use of the property is residential. The existing use of this property is residential. The proposed use is staying residential. The applicant is in the process of building an attached enclosed storage space on the southwest side of the existing garage. The west side of the home is currently at a 10-foot, 2-inch setback, and the easterly property line is a 7-foot, 7-inch setback. The zoning code requires a 15-foot minimum combined yard setback. The proposed combined side yard setback is 12 feet, 7 inches with the lean-to. The west side of the home will have a 5-foot setback, and the easterly side will remain at the 7-foot, 7-inch setback. The applicant is seeking a variance of 2 foot, 5 inches for a combined side yard setback of the 12 feet, 7 inches. The applicant has stated to staff that the standalone sheds are not permitted by this neighborhood's HOA, and therefore this is the only way forward to obtain additional storage space. Planning staff has determined this variance request is appropriate as both side yards meet or exceed the minimum side yard setbacks for an R175 single-family residential district, which is 5 feet. And planning staff supports the variance requested at 122 Greenbrier Lane and suggests the following conditions upon approval. That's that all applicable permits must be obtained through the Building Department, Engineering Department, Division of Planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any construction. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who would speak in favor of this request? If so, if you'd please come to the podium and give us your name and your address.
Yeah, my name's Don Scherer, 122 Greenbrier. I just wanted to let you know if you had any questions, please ask away. I'm the homeowner here, so that's what I'm here for.
Okay, the only question I've got, if you talk to your neighbor, I mean, there's only one person that's impacted.
Yes, yeah. I've talked to him several times over the last few years, and he has no objections. Talked to neighbors across the street, no objections. I don't have anybody here that's saying nay, so I feel pretty good about it.
Okay, has we've gotten any comments from?
Nope, no negative or positive or any comments at all from the public.
Okay, now, there's a homeowners association in the Cove. Is you've been talking to them yet?
Yep, yeah.
They're good?
They're good, yeah.
Okay.
So it's the Cove Homeowners Association, not Cedar Point?
Right.
Correct.
Just curious.
Is there any way to accomplish this, staying in the original setbacks?
I would not have a usable lean-to, less than 3 feet, which doesn't make it reasonable. I can't store lawnmower, kayaks, so on and so forth. My goal here is try to clean up this area between the two houses, between us and the walls, try to take care of some of the eyesight things.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak against this request? Then we're back to the board. Any questions or comments? None, there's a motion is in order.
I would like to make a motion to approve this variance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, if you'd call the roll.
John Fike,
Yes.
Greg Pujo,
Yes.
William Siemens.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and that's with staff's comments on permitting. Okay, the next item on the agenda is for 1015 Buchanan Street, an area variance and a use variance, zoning code section 1129.03, to allow the placement of a accessory structure and use without a main structure and use on a parcel in an RMF multifamily zoning district. We have the staff's comments. Is there anything additional you wish to add?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This site is zoned RMF multifamily residential. The surrounding zoning districts to the north is PF Public Facility, to the east is PF Public Facilities, to the south is RMF Residential Multifamily, and to the west is RMF Residential Multifamily. The surrounding uses of this site are both residential and business. The existing use of this site is a vacant lot. The proposed use is a vacant lot with a shed without a main structure. The applicant proposes to place a 10-foot by 16-foot shed on this parcel. The proposed shed will be in the northeast corner, 3 feet from the side and rear property lines, and approximately 145 feet from the front property line. The applicant is seeking 2 variances tonight. One is to allow an accessory structure without a main structure, and the second is to allow an accessory use without a main use. The property currently functions as one parcel but is split into 2. Staff has observed that the shed as proposed would have been permitted if the home on this lot was not removed. It meets all of the zoning code standards and for an accessory structure besides the requirement mentioned in this report. The shed could be placed on this lot if the church lot and the vacant lot were combined. Staff looked into this approach. However, the vacant lot is zoned multifamily residential and is buildable per zoning code section 1129.14. A recent study was released by the Firelands Forward Workforce Development and discovered that Erie County is approximately 1,637 units below the housing needs of the region. Combining the vacant and buildable residential multifamily lot with the adjacent parcel would reduce its ability to serve as a potential location for residential infill development in the future, and staff recommended the applicant keep the property as a separate parcel in this case. Given the unique circumstances of this property, planning staff is not opposed to the requested variance at 1015 Buchanan Street and suggests the following conditions upon approval. And that's that all necessary permits are obtained through the Building Department, Engineering Department, Division of Planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wish to speak in favor of this request?
Yes, my name is James Matthews. I'm one of the ministers there at the New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church. There was a residence there at one time. This year, we tore that down because it wasn't viable to keep that anymore. So we tore it down. Also, the garage that was there was a detached garage. We also disposed of all that. So at this time, the property is clean. It's nothing else there. We chose not to put another residence there. It would have totally boxed as far as the church in. If you look at the pictures there with Eddie Henry Way on one side, Buchanan on the other. So at this point, we're looking at possibly in the future being able to extend our parking and so on and so forth on that particular lot. We didn't feel that it would damage anything or be a deterrent to the hospital property, nor the property owner just to the north of that to even put a 10 by 16 shed at this address. And I'm just here to obtain any questions or any comments or anything at this point.
Okay. Questions? My question, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, mine, when we get to it, my question's for staff.
Okay.
more.
It sounds like you are not going to build a house on it. If anything, you may pave it.
Correct.
Okay.
If anything, that would be the future of that particular lot, yes.
Okay.
No question. No.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of this request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak against this request? We'll come back to the table. You had a question?
Yeah, the decision by staff to recommend keep the property as a separate parcel when it doesn't sound as if there's going to be another residential building constructed there.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, so based on that study, staff is trying, with any possible scenario, to keep buildable lots separate and without combining them. In this case, combining a lot would solve this issue. Because it's such a large multifamily zone lot, we would like to keep it separate if possible. Parking lot paved sure is a new use for this site, but that can easily be changed if for whatever reason this church moves or something else happens to this current use. If this parcel stays separate, it can be transferred to a new use rather easily if it's just a parking lot and a shed there. And hopefully, as the future changes and strategies and as far as demand for housing is concerned, this might be a very, very viable site in the future that we'd like to keep separate.
Understood. Thank you.
I understand what you're saying, but I know if I was building a house and I had a choice to build next to a parking lot, next to a big metal building, although a church is always a good neighbor, that's not where I want to build. I think my personal is I'd rather see the church do a lot combination so it is one big parcel and then they could pave whatever else they wanted to do on it.
Sure, and right now there may be an influx of properties available in Sandusky, but as the market shifts, there may not be as many parcels to build on, and therefore this could be a very viable site, as I mentioned. So that's staff's approach. That's what we would like to see going forward.
Okay, back to the table. No questions. The motion is in order.
I see both sides to that, but I would make a motion to approve this variance to allow to be used as such.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Seeing none, if you'd call the roll.
William Siemens,
Yes.
John Fike,
Yes,
Craig Pujo.
Yes.
the motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is 918 West Monroe Streets and area variances zoning code 1145.17 D and G to allow the placement of a 6-foot tall fence and gate in the side yard in an R2F residential two-family district. We have the staff's comments. Anything additional?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This site is zoned R2F two-family residential. To the north, east, and west is also zoned R2F two-family residential, and to the south is zoned R140 single-family residential. The surrounding uses of this site are all residential. The existing use of this site is residential, and the proposed use is staying residential. The applicant wishes to build a 6-foot privacy gate into the eastern side yard at 918 West Monroe Street. The zoning code restricts fences, walls, and yard structures to a height of 4 foot along a side yard of a house. The reason for the 6-foot gate in the side yard is to provide privacy and restrict access onto the property from pedestrians, according to the applicant. The fence would be set back an estimated 60 feet from the front property line. Property to the east is a residential structure. Staff has determined that the fence placement would be placed in the neighbor's backyard and would not negatively impact that neighboring property. The applicant has addressed to staff that pedestrians have walked up his driveway to the rear of the house while they've been outside working. These instances have caused privacy and safety concerns by the owner. Due to the large setback of the proposed gate from the front property lines, planning staff supports the requested variance at 918 West Monroe Street and suggests the following conditions upon approval. And that's that all necessary permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, planning departments prior to construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience which speak in favor of this request? Is there anyone in the audience wish to speak against this request? If not, we'll come back to the table. I said, I've been by the house a couple of times, and if I'm looking at from what their drawing is, the gate's going to be up the road a ways. You're hardly even going to see it.
Yep, that's correct. It's, as I mentioned, 60 foot from the sidewalk, which is the property line.
Okay.
And nothing's extending into the front yard at all, right?
Correct. Nope. As far as I know, in the drawings I've seen, what you see on the screen here, it's just going to be a straight gate, east and westward, nothing extending north-south.
I would make a motion to approve this variance and with the staff's stipulations for permitting.
Want to hear from anybody?
Pardon?
Do we want to hear from anybody?
There isn't anybody here.
Oh, got it. I don't see any reason not to approve it, so I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and it's approved the second. Any questions on the motion? If none, if you call the roll.
Greg Pujo,
Yes.
William Siemens,
Yes.
John Fike.
Yes, that motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is 433 Anderson Street, an area variance to zoning code section 1137.08A to allow a residential building addition within the minimum front yard setback in a commercial recreational district. Before we start, I cannot vote on it.
Okay, we'd have to table this then.
Since I can't, if we did vote and it passed, 2 with 1 abstention, it would not pass.
That's correct. If I may, just for the record, the codified ordinances that regulate the Board of Zoning Appeals, so 3 members constitute a quorum, but 3 members are also needed to grant any variance, just so that's on.
Okay, so with the homeowner's permission, we'd like to table this for a month, and then staff has to make sure at the next meeting that besides these 2, one of the other 2 members are here to vote. So we have a motion to table, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Our next meeting is November 16th. I don't know if anybody here knows if they've got a conflict now or not.
In prior cases, we have scheduled a special meeting, typically 2 weeks after today's date, to help accommodate the item that has been tabled. So I will discuss with everybody and see what dates 2 weeks plus out from now work for everybody.
That's fine.
Okay.
If there's no,
Anything we can do to expedite
yeah,
this for you folks?
if there's.
We
no
apologize for
business-
our 2 missing members.
Say motion to adjourn is in order.
Good, you can make a motion.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that. Motion to adjourn.
I didn't mean to.
I was just
Make
looking
a
at my calendar to make sure I can be here on the 16th, so you guys don't have to go through this again. But everything looks good. I should be here, but
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor